I just want to say, I knew that this was going to go this way because I've been telling y'all for a long time that Illegal album is dope, and everyone looked at me like I was crazy. Except for you.
You're right.
Everybody's like, I don't know. Especially Jules DJ. He's like, hey, man, I don't know. Illegal.
Can we tell the whole story? Can we tell the whole story? Tell them how the conversation of Illegal came up after you started sweating QUO, the rap group QUO, as your favorite. And then somebody brought up the Youngsters, and somebody brought up Illegal. You was like, no, Illegal dope too. Illegal dope too. And then all of a sudden, QUO was.
Now see, now you're not telling the truth. Now you're not telling the truth because I never said QUO was dope. Although that one song that they had was pretty good.
What's the name of that song that you don't know? What's the name of that song you don't know?
I don't know. I just remember that a young Wade Robinson was in the group with a bald head, looking like he looked like young Eminem. He had a low blonde Caesar. I do remember that.
You know the members' real names. What a unknowing. I don't know who they are. I don't know.
Yo, all I know is Son is married to Reagan Gomez from QUO.
Son, right. Yeah, I looked that up. The guy, that is right. Also true. What's funny is it's true. What was that? One guy became a famous choreographer for a lot of pop boy and girl band stuff in the 2000s, and the other one, ironically, first of all, leveled up Reagan Gomez, woo, and a family and the whole nine, but gave up music completely. Like you can't even find anything on him, really.
Wouldn't you?
Huh?
Really?
Wouldn't you?
Nothing on him?
I mean, I'm just saying. Sometimes you can find stuff on Wikipedia. Like there's like nothing. Like he did nothing music related entertainment after that.
No,
like
I just said you would give up music for Reagan Gomez.
Yeah, perhaps.
I mean,
perhaps.
Listen, he had he had fame first, so like he probably saw some things, and I just hey, good for everybody.
Yeah. Illegal would have lost with that the Youngsters No Mercy album. That was.
I think so.
That's the K-Def one.
That is a K-Def album. Yeah,
that is a K-Def album.
That was a good album.
That was great.
I mean, but let's be honest, man. Let's be honest. Like the thing that Jules, you pointed out, which is a good point. Like back then, to have two young groups of kids, 13, 14, 12, however old they were in that range, spitting the lyrics that they were spitting, with the quality of beats that they had, it was pretty impressive, man. Because I mean, Crisscross was dope, but they were poppy.
Yeah.
Right. And these two groups were very, very, very gritty, and it was something different, man. And because you had Another Bad Creation, The Family, all of them very poppy, and these kids had baseball bats and Carhartt vests on.
I was
and Brandon's over their eyes, so you couldn't even see their eyes, and they all of that.
But you know what too? It's also, remember, it also speaks volumes to the lyricism of the '90s, because if you're a kid group, you couldn't come out with no ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. You couldn't do a Bow Wow. '90s was violent.
Yeah, true.
Super violent.
Yeah. But you know what though? I think the hip hop climate at the time was, like I said, starting to generate money, especially at this point in the '90s. And I think the labels started to take a sort of like let's let the black division take care of it, but let's pump a little more money.
We're gonna call it urban.
Because then you have what happens then is like you have the baby version of almost every genre that was already an adult version. Like someone brought up, my man DJ Miter brought up the Wascals.
Yeah,
like
Rascals.
Oh wow!
That's baby. He said it's Baby Farside. It's like they had the
Biscuits,
Farside. We had the baby version of Onyx with the Youngsters, the way they was even looking at it's like.
And he also brought up Shaheem too.
And Shaheem,
Baby Wu-Tang. You know what I'm saying? It's like all these miniature, respectfully, versions, and it was like, well, why not? You know what I'm saying? So there was an audience, and again, it's almost like to a certain degree, like what do you call that thing when little kids are doing the pageants? You know what I'm saying? Like that are it's like you're like, I mean, not exactly the same, but in a sense, you're like, oh, look at this little kid doing the same thing adults do, and then some do it really well. You know what I'm saying? You're just like, oh, well, that's kind of believable. And that's where we are with these two particular groups. I believe illegal. I think they were little troublemakers. I think
Are they incarcerated?
right now. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, if you think about it, this album came out in that album came out in 92, late 92, early 93.
Their first one. Oh, you talking about the youngsters?
No, illegal.
93.
93. So then later that year, Malik was on Pump Pump on the Snoop album, which is a banger. So
if I'm not mistaken, they're actually blood related. I believe they're cousins.
Okay.
Really?
So I mean, he was primed for like, because I think it's safe to say, even though Jamal did come out with the solo album afterwards, we had a banger on it. I think Malik was probably primed to be a bigger star, and I don't know what happened to him. I mean, he just disappeared.
I actually looked up that information that you brought up today, or that question on the internet, and the internet produced to me that he actually did end up eventually in 2005 releasing a full length. And he didn't even look the same. Like he's a grown ass man. So I was just like, oh, like I don't know if I want to hear this, but I believe it's available on streaming.
So he didn't have the production budget that Illegal had.
It didn't look like, respectfully, like anything kind of like a big production on it. It looked like something sort of independent. Which
Kenny Ball sold out.
I make an argument that
this man production.
What's your argument?
I was gonna make an argument that I think, though, and I leave it to the room. I would probably say out of all those groups, possibly the youngsters probably had the best run because they made
they did.
They made additional albums that had good songs on it.
Yeah, they did.
I could be wrong, and I'm not sure, but I always kind of go like on what I read about things. And the youngsters, again at that time, I think produced 4 albums, not produced, but like put out 4 albums. But they actually ended up producing that 4th album, the "I'll Make You Famous" album, which features with Mobb Deep, and a lot of dope records that came off of that. But if I'm not mistaken, again, maybe you could, you know, you're in the chat room, people can maybe confirm this. I think they have something to do because they're from Philly,
right?
They started independently before they went the label route.
Right.
It has something to do with pop art. I believe their family is something to do with the pop art label. Remember that label, Pop Art?
Yeah, I believe. Where's Philly as? I think Pop Art was one of the first early hip hop record labels from like the 80s or the 70s. 80s, I believe.
I think they're in that lineage. Like that's why they kind of got like the
That's, I mean, I would have to confirm it, but I could see that because I could see that. That
4th album was on Pop Art.
Yeah. I can see that.
With the Mobb Deep and all that, that was on Pop Art.
Yeah.
No. But
I thought that was just a label. And then I found out that it was an earlier hip hop label. And I think they might actually have like, I think they're like lineage, like they're literally like they're
Philly said it's their father.
Oh, word? Okay.
See what I'm saying? Shout out to Philly the Kid. I didn't say what's up to you, my bad. But he's right. They got Philly the Kid in the building representing the Philly knowledge. But there you go. So, like I said, they were related. They're like Sugar Hill Gang kind of style in terms of pop art.
Yeah.
Where like linear, they were supposed to like, you know, become like somebody in terms of hip hop.